Hot News Week 5, I'm No Sleeves 12, and in today's episode, every single offensive Maple Leaf and Morgan Rielly have 7,000 new cards. Stay tuned. I'm just kidding. So, let's get into the Hut Alumni to start for Week 5. The biggie is a favorite of mine, so let's get started. So, starting at the bottom, we have 82 overall Matthew Gaudreau, Columbus Blue Jacket alum. I remember him back in the mid-2000s. This card's pretty avoidable. I mean, Defensive Warrior isn't a bad synergy, but there's really no point in having him. You can get a backup goalie with Burner, so. Next up is 83 overall R.J. Umberger, another alumni from the Columbus Blue Jackets, who might be most famous for getting absolutely rocked by Brian Campbell in the playoffs. This is one you can avoid, just too slow for your lineup. Next, we have possibly the best named card in the history of Hut from Toronto, Dick Duff. Now, this dude might be slow, but his synergies aren't bad. Passing playmaker as well as call the shot are pretty good individual synergies. Again, with most alums, though, it just comes down to speed. But, man, what a legend name. The 87 overall from the St. Louis Blues is Red Berenson. Really good shot. Again, speed's kind of mediocre, but with that kind of shot, he's worth it. I wouldn't spend anything over like 60, 70K on him. Yeah, he isn't a bad card. And finally, one of my favorite players of all time, Rob Blake, is the 90 overall. It sucks his speed is so slow, but he's got great defensive synergies to go along with an absolute missile from the point. If you can pack him, keep him. If you can't, I mean, he's going to be steep in price. I would say like 150, but he's going to be way more than that. But again, he's just really slow, and you don't want to get burned anymore since the patch with slow guys on the back end. And on to the team of the week. There he is, Austin Matthews, 86 overall with Burner. This is a dope card to have. It's also very expensive to currently get, but one of the better BUs. And he's flanked by Kane and Taves, who had fantastic weeks. This Patrick Kane card is nasty. It would probably be higher on my priority list than Matthews, just because, his shot and whatnot and speed is out of control on that Kane card. Taves, he's not bad. I don't know if I'd go all in on the money. Tyler Seguin, 86 overall. His speed is also very good now. Any of these guys that get upgrades in the coming months are going to have really good speed. And he's got Jordan Staal and Tkachuk as well. And then following down the list, I mean, Elias Pettersson is going to be having a team of the week or a prime time every single night. He might be. The problem is that he started so low that he's probably not going to be a 90 or usable until end of the year if he gets Rookie of the Year or gets a Young Guns Team of the Year card. On defense, we have Morgan Rielly, who's up to an 83, considering he has 50,000 points in his first couple games. And then we've got Shabbat, who, again, got an Evo, but he isn't going to get enough upgrades, I think, throughout the year until that Team of the Year to be worth it, and he'd have to keep it up, but he might be a decent Evo to invest in as it's already been upgraded. In net, we got Ben Bishop, community favorite because he's so gigantic. I packed this card, so I'm kind of excited to try him out. He'd be a good one to get. So that is your team of the week for Week 5. Let's go over the current primetime and milestone cards that have been released, starting with Patrice Bergeron, who gets an 86 overall with Faceoff Master. He's a perfect depth center, even as the game goes on. He's already got 89 Faceoff with this card, plus that Faceoff Master gives an additional 3 if you can activate the synergy. He's got 90 speed and a pretty good shot. This is a decent card to pull. Next up, we have the primetime Sebastian Aho. He is an 84 overall now. All of his speed stats are above 90, and he has the speedster synergy, and his shot is above 80, so it is mediocre, but with that speed, it isn't bad. Right now, he's going for like 80K. I'd avoid that. Once it drops anywhere around 50, 60, he'd be a pretty decent card to pick up. Next up, I'm 100% certain Jonathan Taves is just having this kind of start to ensure that he, again, has 50 million cards inside Hut this season, but the primetime does have 90 overall speed as well as good. Oh, his face-off stat is 78. Wow, EA dropped the ball on that. His synergies for the boys in the primetime card, which is probably one of the worst. I'd avoid right now. It looks like you might actually be able to snag him for like 50K. I'd still just save your coins. Next up is the Milestone Jamie Benn. I love the look of these cards. 86 overall. His speed is all above 90, and his shot is all above 84, so that's a pretty fantastic pull. He has Bruiser as a synergy, which is terrible. So, I mean, if you pack him, you pack him. But as far as buying goes, his synergy is kind of rough, and you could probably spend your money elsewhere. On to Kovalchuk, who got that one assist he needed to hit the milestone, so it upgraded his Evo as well. He's really slow, almost like an alumni, but his shot's really good. He's got great deking at 84 and also has the Dangler Zone synergy. Would be a decent card to get, but again, he does have slow speed, so don't overpay. Here we are. Phil the Thrill gets his primetime card. He's got over 94 speed and a great shot as well as the burner synergy. Problem is he's going for like 150K. Still an 85 overall, but with that speed and shot and BU, if you've got the coins, who doesn't want Cheeseburger Phil? And his teammate Chris Letang also gets a card, over 90 speed. His shot is pretty rough, but for defenders, it's not terrible. This wouldn't be a bad card to go after, but I wouldn't spend anything over 70 or 80K. He is just an 85 overall, although his synergy isn't bad, and but his speed is decent, so wouldn't be a bad card to get. Next up is the 82 overall Milestone Alexandre Steen. He's got pretty decent speed, 88. Again, that would be kind of the benchmark. Anything lower than that, and you're going to notice a big drop-off. And his shot is around 80 overall as well, so again, nothing special. But he does have Breakout Master, which is one of the better synergies. He's not a bad card. He's going in between 15 and 20K. This isn't a terrible pull. He's also pretty big. And on to the Leafs. We've got Primetime John Tavares, who gets a card. Honestly, his speed is still a little low to go after him because his price is so high. It's over like 200K on PlayStation. His shot is fantastic. His passing is great. So is his deking. But with net front presence, even his synergy is kind of lame on his primetime card. I would avoid this one. I would save your coins and see if you can't get the Evo with a couple hundred more. Now we've got Mitch Marner with the primetime. I would probably prefer his team of the week as that one has burner, but you could probably snag this one with his great speed, all over 90, and shot over 80, so that kind of meets the prerequisite for being decent in the shooting department. He does have passing playmaker, and you should be able to get this one much cheaper than his team of the week with burner, so he isn't a bad card to go after. And finally, Auston Matthews primetime. His speed is over 90, his shot is over 84, so he's a fantastic card, but he's got For the Boys, which again, I'm not really a big fan of as far as synergies go. If you've got to pay over 100 or maybe even 150 for Auston Matthews primetime card, I'd probably avoid it, but if you're a Leafs fan or you find one, you could probably, might be worth going after. Now we've got the 86 overall primetime Evgeni Kuznetsov. His speed is out of control. His shot is great. His deking is an 89. This is a card to go after. A great winger, and he's probably going to be on your team for quite some time. The problem is he's going for like 200K. It still might be worth it because of how fast he is as well, combined with his shot and deking. But it's going to be a tough pull. Again, For the Boys, I'm not a big fan of, but again, his speed overrides that. And finally, we've got Milestone Niklas Backstrom with over 90 speed. His shot is pretty rough, though. I mean, as far as an 85 goes. Again, cool looking card, but for an 85 overall, I wouldn't go over 100. And let's take a quick look at Hut Champs. This weekend is the 91 Jerome Iginla. Next week is the 91 Shea Weber. And if you peep it, he's got 95 speed. That's a pretty unreal card. But again, it's top 5 that goes after that. So, I mean, it's only the biggies that are really going to be in play for that one. The Sidney Crosby 89 Gatorade card, all you have to do is place inside the top 100. And all you have to do, I guess, is in quotes. But that's a pretty broad range for an 89 overall card. So it is something that you guys want to keep playing for. Also want to mention, keep doing the Evo season as well. Top 100 gets a Tier 1 Evo pack, and getting Subban or Hall is a pretty guaranteed way to get a sit card, even Pasternak. So again, guys, if you are a top-tier player, I would keep playing. These are great pulls that are a great investment if you can play that much. And lastly, I'd just like to do a team update. Here is my squad so far through the 5 weeks. Solani, Oates, and Ray Ferrari have been great for me, obviously. They're fantastic cards. And then on the second line, I did get Mike Gartner. That is a long grind with Linden and Eddie O on the wings. I will be looking forward to upgrading my right wing. Hull, Curry, and Crosby is my third line. And then on the fourth, I've got some of my favorite cards. I love the cover Forsberg as well as Bob Probert. I never want to take them out of my lineup. And then Alexander Ovechkin. But yeah, I will be upgrading my Sidney Crosby spot as well as possibly Alexander Ovechkin. On defense, I was able to get Tim Horton to pair him with Paul Coffey. Then I created the 89 Tempo Numanen. The Saber fan in me loved OG Tempo Numanen with Ally Frady, who is my favorite legend card. And then Eric Carlson and Pareko. Danico. I'm real close to the McInnes, so I'll replace Carlson with him. Then I've got Hextall, who's big, and I just need to create a legend with Andy Moog as my backup. I wouldn't use the Andy Moog if you get him. He is really small, but he does have burner, so that is my team so far, guys. And again, if you don't know, you can catch me on Twitch Monday to Friday, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern Time, where I do a lot of Hut or Versus and things like that. So, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Hut News. I will see you guys next week for Week 6. You guys stay sweet.